Hello students, welcome to online course of Mechanical Measurement and Metrology. Myself Abhishek Trivedi from Mechanical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. We are discussing intermediate modifying and terminating devices and advancement in the metrology. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the basic concept of CRO, cathode ray oscilloscope, as well as we have discussed the major subsystems of the CRO. Then we have discussed data logger. The first one, that is CRO, is very much useful for the data presentation element. By using the CRO, you can supposed to provide some sort of the digital display for presenting the data in a transient format. Whereas the second one, that is a data logger, is very much useful for the data collection element, or we can say the instrument is basically useful for the data collection. We can collect the data in the real time condition, as well as we can record the data, and we can use the same data for the further evaluation, for the further analysis. So data logger is widely useful once you are supposed to required to store the data, to collect the data as per the real time conditions, and then you are supposed to use the same data for the future reference, for the evaluation, for the analysis purpose. So we are supposed to use the data logger as a basic instrument for the data collection. We have discussed these two instruments. Now we are going to start our second portion of the chapter, that is the advancement in the metrology. As the metrology branch evaluates, as the metrology branch start evaluating, so many instruments has been developed, and some of the instruments are very wonderful instruments which change the era of measurement to some extreme level. So today we are going to discuss two different instruments which are very much useful instruments to check the different parameters of the dimensions for the measurement, and what is the basic advancement generated from the conventional system to the advanced systems, that we are going to discuss. We are starting with the laser interferometer, and we are winding our lecture with the coordinate measuring machine. So let us understand first of all the concept of laser. After understanding the concept of laser, we are starting with the laser interferometer, and then we are going to wind up our lecture with the coordinate measuring machine. The coordinate measuring machine, also known as a CMM. The particular instrument CMM replaced the linear dimensioning system to a very vast era. So let us start with the very first concept of laser. First of all, let us understand what do you mean by laser, or we can say what the laser stands for. So the laser stands for light amplification and stimulated emission of radiation. The laser stands for the light amplification and stimulated emission of radiation, which produce an intense emergent beam of light that can be parallel to a high degree and can be focused on a very small area. We can use the laser to project something, or we can say to focus the light of the intense light of radiations, intense light beam, to a very small area, or we can say to a very minute area, or we can say to a very confined spot. The number of materials are used for the laser production, but we are generally preferring the helium and neon gas. Laser is most widely useful for the metrological department, because the particular helium and neon gases are the ideal gases. They are not supposed to react with the base metal, or we can say they are not supposed to react with the base instrument, or the particular instrument, or the particular material, or the particular workpiece which we are going to measure, or which we are going to on which we are going to perform some sort of the experiment, on which we are going to perform some sort of measurement. So to eliminate such kind of chemical reactions, or we can say to eliminate such kind of effect generated by the laser production material, we are using helium and neon gas lasers in the metrology department. Now we are going to discuss some of the advantage of the lasers. As you all know that you are very much aware about the laser, what is the laser, and you know the laser concept of the laser very well, but we are just briefing all the concepts in a very fastly. The first one, that is a monochromatic in the nature. The basic advantage, or we can say the prime factor for the selection of the laser for the measurement, is a monochromatic in the nature. It means it consists a single wavelength, and by using the single wavelength it will propagate to the one spot to the another spot. So we can say that for the propagation of the laser, if we are using the single wavelength, then we can say that the losses which are generated due to the different wavelengths, due to the overlapping of the wavelength, is very much reduced. Then the second, that is the coherent in the nature. It means we can say that all the parts in a single phase. whatever the laser has been generated, wherever the laser has been passed, the laser will always remain in a single phase only. Collimated, that means all the parts travels in a one and the same direction. If I have to project the lasers, then whatever the amount of the laser has been generated, whatever the particular beam of light has been generated by the laser generating unit, all the particular parts, all the particular particles or the particular light beam will travel in a single direction, in a same direction. So we can say that laser is a very collimated in the nature. High information carrying capacity. The laser itself contains the high information carrying capacity, so we are using the laser as a transmission of the data transmission element as well. Free from electromagnetic interference. The particular lasers are free from the electromagnetic interference, so we can say that if we are passing the laser in between the particular we can say that where the magnetic field has been generated, or we can say where the electromagnetic field has been generated, and if still I have to pass the laser, I can pass the laser. The laser will not getting deflected, the laser will not getting distorted, or we can say the laser will not getting modulated just because of the electromagnetic interference, or the electromagnetic field has been generated besides the way, or we can say beside the road of the travel of the lasers. So laser is very much useful due to the its avoidance of the electromagnetic interference. Single laser beam can be focused on a very small area, let's say 1 micrometer square diameter. We can say that if I am going to make a circle, having the diameter, let's say 1 mm, then I can project the laser over this particular spot. So I can say that this is not the circle, this is a simple spot on which the particular laser is going to be located. I can direct the laser, I can provide the laser to a single spot. So it is very much useful. Just because of this nature, I can say that if I am supposed to require a proper dimensioning system, then I am using the laser, because by using the laser you can spot the particular point over the workpiece very precisely. So we are using lasers. Now we are going to discuss the laser interferometer. The instrument which is designed on the lasers is known as a laser interferometers. The particular image shows the laser interferometer, a very basic instrument which is useful for the interferometry principle is known as a laser interferometers. First of all, let us understand here this is the laser production unit. As we have already discussed that we are using the helium, or we are using the neon gas for the generation of the laser. Then from production of the laser we are transferring the laser to the beam splitter. Over here the beam splitter has been provided, this is the beam splitter has been provided. Then the number of collimating lenses are there, this is the collimating lenses which are used to propagate the laser with the proper dimensional, or we can say with the proper directions. Then the reference surface has been provided, we can say this is the reference standard, and besides the reference standard, we can say behind the reference standard we are supposed to provide the test workpiece or testing surface. Now what the concept says, over here we are providing some sort of the cameras, and by using the cameras we are supposed to click the pictures, and the pictures are further evaluated or further analyzed by the human being. So what is the basic principle of working of this particular laser interferometer? So whatever the laser, or we can say whatever the light source has been generated from this particular laser production unit, the whole light source will be transferred to the beam splitter. The beam splitter will also provide the same source to the main collimating lens. The first lens is going to be incident by using the rays of the laser. As we all know that the particular lens have two different concepts. If the light rays are coming in the parallel beam, then it will try to make it at the focal point. It will try to focus all the light rays in the focal point, and vice versa. If from the single point, if the light rays are coming in the divergent manner, then the lens will try to make it parallel beam, or we can say the lens will try to make a beam of parallel light rays, or we can say parallel beam of lasers. So whatever the light will come in this particular direction, all the light rays are parallel in the nature, so the lens will try to make it focus on the single point. After focusing on the single point, the light rays will cross its own direction. The light rays will cross its own direction, and they are further inside on the another collimating lens. Again the collimating lens is there, the lens will make the divergent light into the parallel surface, so it will make it as a parallel. Then the particular laser will strike on the reference surface, the remaining laser will pass to the test surface over here. and then it will be reflected back. The reflected back particular light rays, or we can say the reflected lasers, will also come to the beam splitter, and the beam splitter will transfer the rays of the beam, or we can say rays of the lasers, to the camera, and the camera will click the pictures. If we are going to check this particular site, then we can say that this is the test workpiece, and this is gonna be your reference workpiece. So do not get confused that whatever the laser will strike on the reference workpiece, then where the remaining lasers are there which will strike on the test workpiece. So the reference workpiece is smaller in the size as compared to the standard, or we can say as compared to the basic workpiece which we are going to evaluate. The behind side, the cross hatch, will show the workpiece which we are going to check for the testing, and the front side will shows the reference surface. From the camera we are supposed to find such kind of reading. Suppose we are discussing a case of reading. Suppose I'll find this particular image from the camera lens, then what does it shows? Suppose in this particular square we are supposed to find this kind of lines, and on the back hand side we are going to find such kind of lines. If we are supposed to find such kind of lines, these lines are known as a fringe. These are known as fringes. If we are supposed to find such kind of fringe, then I can say that if both the lines, or we can say over here, do remember the internal box, this particular internal square box shows the reference standard workpiece, whereas the green colored lines will shows the test workpiece. So if we will find the reference workpiece and the test workpiece fringe are parallel to each other, and they are uniformly spaced to each other, then we can say that both the surfaces are parallel to each other. Do remember, mark my words, that if the fringes are same, if the fringes are parallel to each other and the same space, then we can say that the particular test workpiece and the particular reference surface are parallel to each other. The figure shows the actual image of the laser interferometry, and on the screen, as you can check on the screen here, this particular screen, this shows the particular image of the given fringes, and by using, or we can say by analyzing this particular image, we can check that the particular flatness of the given surface, cylindricity of the given surface, ovality of the given surface, or we can say concave, convex nature or texture of the given surfaces. So this is the basic concept of the laser interferometer. Now we are going to discuss the concept of CMM, coordinate measuring machine. The figure shows the coordinate measuring machine. The machine itself contains a probe is there, then the vertical slider is there, bridge is there. Besides this particular machine, we are supposed to provide the computer setup to check the dimensions which are coming from which are taken as an input parameter from the CMM. The particular vertical slide will provide the vertical motion to the probe. The bridge, if we are checking the view, if we are checking the top view, then I can say that from the top view we can check like this. This is the table over which the bridge has been provided like this. This is the structure of the bridge. So the bridge can be moved in this particular direction, or we can say the probe, the hanger of the probe. This is the hanger of the probe on which the probe has been hanged. So I can say that the hanger of the probe will move in this particular direction, as well as the whole bridge structure will move in this particular direction. So if we are going to discuss the three-dimensional view, then I can say that the bottom plane, this particular bottom plane, will be covered by the bridge structure and the hanger of the particular probe, and the vertical plane, or we can say vertical direction, will be taken by the vertical slide. So we can say that by using this particular structure we can cover all three directions. We can cover all three direction, or we can say we can cover all three planes. The first plane is over here, the second plane is over here, and we are supposed to use this particular third plane is over here. So I can say that by using this particular concept, we are supposed to fulfill the cuboidal shape. So we can say that if we are supposed to use the particular cuboidal shape, particular rectangular shape in the three-dimensional concept, then we are using the coordinate measuring machine. The coordinate measuring machine will help to cover the XY plane as well as in the Z direction. All the planes from the Z direction will be covered by the particular site. So we are using the CMM as a very basic instrument for the linear dimensioning system. We can say that we can eliminate all the linear dimensioning elements, or we can say we can eliminate all the linear dimensioning machines with the single CMM. Coordinate measuring machine is widely useful instrument for the measurement purpose. The actual image of the CMM. The probe. What is the probe? Probe is a main sensing element of the CMM, which makes the physical contact with the workpiece when the measurement is to be taken. As the power feed is used to move the probe along the different axes, the care should be exercised when the contact is to be made. And what is a bridge? Bridge is used for the better rigidity of the structure, as well as the probe unit is mounted over the horizontal moving bridge, as we have discussed. So we can say that by using the bridge and the vertical slide, we can cover all the three mutually orthogonal directions, and by movement of this particular directional motion of the probe, we can cover the cuboidal shape of the given table. Now we are going to discuss the basic working of the CMM. The CMM, that is the modern CMM, invariably employ the computer control because the computer offers a high degree of versatility, convenience and reliability. A user-friendly softwares are provided the required provides the required functional features. The basic commands which are provided by the software, by the different software for the CMM. The first one, that is a move command. It directs the probe to the data collection point. Then measurement command, it results in the comparison of the distance traversed by the traversed to the standard built-in. Measurement command, it results in the comparison to the distance traversed to the standard built into the machine for that axis. And the last one, that is a formatting command. It translates the data into the formatting command. It translates the data into the form which is desired for the display, or the we can say printout. Now we are going to discuss the basic working procedure of the CMM. Working procedure to make the linear measurement, like the distance between the two holes. If we are supposed to measure the distance between the two holes, how the CMM will work. First of all, let us understand the pictorial representation of the same. Suppose we are using a single sheet. Suppose the probe is provided over here. This is the condition of the probe. I have to measure the linear distance between these 2 points. Then what I am supposed to do? First of all, I will clamp the workpiece. This is suppose the reference base. Then I will clamp the workpiece over here. I will clamp the workpiece over here. Then command the probe from the 0, 0, 0 position. Lift the probe, move it to the first point, then read the data. Let's say here the data is x1, y1, z1 in all the directions. Then again move the probe to second one, let's say x2, y2 and z2. By checking the value of x1, y1, z1 and x2, y2, z2, we can measure the distance between the these 2 points, these 2 holes. This is the basic procedure for the measurement. First of all, clamp the job, or we can say clamp the workpiece over the table. Then align the specimen with the 3 mutually perpendicular directions x, y, z on the measuring sides. Then set the probe tip in the first datum hole and set all the readout for the probe position to the 0. As I have told you that first of all locate the 0, 0, 0 position. Then move the probe to the successive holes. The digital readout represent the coordinates in the respective axis. As I have told you that in the very first hole it will show some sort of the x1, y1, z1 reading, and on the successive holes it will shows the x2, y2, z2 reading. And from the x1, y1, z1 and x2, y2, z2 we can evaluate the distance between the 2 holes. Thus, the distance can be read out with the great accuracy. This is a basic procedure of the CMM. It's a very user-friendly instruments for the measurement of the linear dimensions. Now, the last topic of the CMM, that is the applications. Applications of the CMM, where the CMM is very much useful to check the dimensional accuracy of all the NC. We can say NC, numerically controlled produced workpiece, in the various steps of the production, used for determination of the shape and position, maximum material condition, then linkage of the results, etc., which other conventional instrument cannot do simultaneously. It is used to inspect and document the safety components like the aircraft and the spaceships. Also, it is used in the reverse engineering. A complete 3D geometric model with all the critical dimensions can be built by using the CMM. Also, it is used in the reverse engineering. A complete 3D geometric model with all the critical dimensions can be built by using the CMM. So guys, this is a basic application of the CMM. Over here we are going to wind up our lecture. What we have discussed today, we have started with the basic concept of the lasers, then laser interferometers, and then we have discussed the coordinate measuring machine, the constructional features of the coordinate measuring machines, the basic working commands of the coordinate measuring machine. Then we have discussed the basic working procedure to measure the linear distance between the two successive holes, and at the end of the lecture we have discussed the applications of the CMM. From next lecture we are going to start our new chapter. Till then, thank you.